What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So Love After Lockup, it is definitely becoming one of my new favorite shows.
I'm going to try to do my recaps a little bit shorter just because it takes so long to film, edit, and upload. And the upload of a 30-minute video literally can take like 12 hours recently. I don't know why. My videos have just really been taking a long time to upload. I want to get them out to you guys as soon as possible. So taking that amount of time to upload just because it's a longer video, unacceptable, right?
So I'm going to try to shorten them up a little bit, but make sure I give you guys all the good, juicy information from the episode. So this episode, it starts with Stan picking Lisa up from jail. Now, you guys remember that she told Stan before that her hair was short. She looks different. She looks like a boy. She looks like her brother. And she does look different. I have to say the pictures that we had seen before of her, it's a big difference compared to what she looks like now. Her hair is definitely short. She comes walking out of the facility. Stan, he spots her, they hug, he picks up her box, they jump in the car, and they head back to, I guess, Stan's house. I guess that's where they're going. They do have a little bit of a drive. Now, when they get in the car, she talks about her hair and how it's short, and Stan says, "You do look a lot different. I've never seen you wear clothes like this. I've never seen you with hair this short." And he tells her, though, he says, "But I like it. It's not terrible. You know, I do like it." She tells Stan that it was actually really popular in jail. Yeah, that it was really popular in jail to have that haircut. She also talks about how she is into women. That the chicks in jail really enjoy it. And Stan says, "Well, I better be like the only person that you're talking to now. Like, I know you like chicks, but I better be the only person that you're talking to." So he shows her the wigs that he had gotten for her. She's not too fond of the brunette wig, but she does get the blonde one off and she puts it on. She puts a cap on. And Stan says that that's the Lisa that I know. That's the Lisa that looks a little bit more familiar. As they're headed home, there was a lot of SCX talk. She mentions a straitjacket. She says, "Do you still have the straitjacket?" And he says, "Oh, yeah." And she asks about possibly getting a white one or a pink one. And she says, "I really want to get you in a pink one." She also asked if she could dress Stan up in the brunette wig. And he goes, "Well, if that's what you like." So they're interesting, to say the least. She talks about how if it wasn't for Stan, she probably wouldn't be with a man. And she says when she was 17, she got married. Her husband beat her, so she left him. And after she left him, he took a bottle of pills and he died. So she's had a lot of trauma, I guess, when it comes to men. So that may be the reason why she started talking to women and started dating women. But she does say that Stan is like the exception, that if it wasn't for him, strictly women. She also says that while her and Stan have a great connection while she was in jail, outside of jail, they haven't really had the opportunity to build that before she was locked up. She only got to see him 3 times. While it was fun and they had a good time, she said it wasn't enough for them to really build a real connection. Now, when asked about marriage in the confessional, she does say that it's not ruled out with Stan. She just has to get to know him better. Now, as they're on their way home, her phone rings and it's her son. She has 3 children. She has a 22-year-old son who is upset when he calls her. He tells her that he's having a hard time. He feels like he doesn't have anyone in his life that cares about him. She gets off the phone and Stan asks if everything's okay. And she says no, that her son is really depressed, that he needs her, and that she feels like she needs to be with her son, you know. Stan tells her, he says, "You are getting into the best time of your life right now. So you need to get rid of your problems." She looks at him very confused because, hello, we're talking about her son, you know. She says, "You don't understand. Like, this is my child." And he goes, "Oh, I didn't mean that." And she asks, "Well, what do you mean? How do I get rid of my problems?" And he said, "You solve them, you cure them, or you get rid of them." And she tells Stan that while, you know, she is out of jail, just because she is out does not mean that everything is peaches and rainbows and great. And he says, he makes the last comment of their segment is everything would be sunshine and peaches if you didn't have any kids or any family. And I was like, oh, wow. And she looked at him like, what the heck did you just say? Stan kind of makes me feel like he is the type of man that wants your full undivided attention. And he expects you not to put anyone above him. Children, family, mother, anybody. Not to be above him. So next we have Brittany and Ray. If you guys remember, at the end of last week's episode, Ray had pulled up in a van to a gas station. He was supposed to be let out there, but he wasn't. He was let out for a second. They put him back in and they left. So everyone was just kind of standing there unsure of what was going on. So the grandmother went up and spoke to someone, and she was informed that they were not supposed to be there to pick Ray up, that a bus was actually supposed to pick Ray up and take him to the halfway house. However, the bus did not show up. So they took Ray back to the facility. So they jump in the car and they hightail it to the facility. They're kind of following the bus. They get there and they're unsure if they're going to be able to get him. Now, because the bus did not show up, they were able to get him. Brittany had said in one of the earlier episodes that when Ray gets out, she better be the first person that he runs up to hug. And she was. I was paying attention to that. I'm like, who he gonna hug first? Nobody else got out of the car. They allowed her to get out of the car and have like a moment with him. And so he hugged her. They got in the car and they made their way to the halfway house that he has to go to. Now he is running short on time. The halfway house is like an hour and a half away, and they don't have that much time to get there. So he calls the halfway house. There's this small part where you can hear him on the phone, and he says, the bus was supposed to pick me up at this time. It didn't show up, so my family's bringing me, but we're on our way. Now, Brittany says in a confessional that if he does not show up on time, he could already be in violation of his parole and get sent right back to prison. So this is serious. They have to get him there. We see Ray in a confessional, and he kind of breaks it down to us, his life and what led him to where he's at now. He says that his mom and dad got a divorce when he was really young. He lived with his mom. He was his mom's first child. And then when he was 11 years old, his mom was murdered. He said he had a lot of rage and anger. They never found out who did it or why, and he said it made it even worse. He said it made his rage worse, and that if he knew why, he might could have handled it different. But not knowing why, it really affected him. So he got into robbing, he got into breaking and entering, he started breaking into pharmacies and stealing pills and selling the pills, and what he couldn't sell, he said he would take, and he said that he become really addicted to drugs, to prescription medication. Now, he doesn't really talk too many details about Brittany and like what his plans are for her, but she did. Now, Brittany says that she hopes that her and Ray can start having children very soon, and she wants to back to back. So I did notice that he didn't really talk too much about his future, but Brittany did. They get to the halfway house, they drop him off, and that is the end of their segment. I'm not sure how their story is going to play out now that he's in the halfway house. They're not going to be able to be together. I don't know if she gets visitation. Not really sure. But I'm interested in seeing. I do know at some point he will get out of the halfway house and he will go to Brittany's house, because she has stated that in an earlier episode that he will be moving in with her. Okay, next we have Rachel and Doug. She picks him up in prison and they go straight to a hotel. These little horn dogs, they just can't wait to have a little fun. So they go straight to a hotel. He has to be home by 5. So they go in the hotel, they kick the camera crew out, they handle business, and when they get done, they get up, they shower, they brush their teeth. He gets out of those, prison clothes, he puts on some new clothes, and they get on the road to head home. While they're headed home, she asks Doug if he's excited to see Dougie and spend some time with Dougie. And he says, yeah, that he is, that he's ready to build a bond with Dougie because he's been in and out of jail all of Dougie's life. So he breaks it down for us. When Dougie was 1.5 years old, Doug went to jail. He went to jail for 6 years. He got out when Dougie was 7 years old. However, he was only out for 40 days before going back to jail for 5 years. So he don't really know his son like that. Like, he doesn't have like a real father-son relationship. So now is the time that he's going to get to build that relationship. Now, as they are pulling like down the street, like their neighborhood, to go to the house. Doug, I keep wanting to call him Dougie. Doug is just looking around and he kind of starts laughing, and Rachel asks him, like, what is it? And he says, this is just wild. The houses, they're all nice. The flowers are all the same. It's just crazy. I've never lived in a neighborhood like this. They get out, they go inside, and in a confessional, he says, this house is so nice. The only time I've ever been in a house this nice is when I was going to rob it. So, you know, he says that he is very lucky to parole out of jail into this, like into a nice neighborhood, a nice house, and to have his son there with him as well. He says that he and his son have never had anything this nice, that they've never had an opportunity to live like this. And he says that he would be crazy to mess it up, but he's not going to mess it up. He says that he will do everything in his power to make things work with Rachel. It's really funny because he picks Rachel up and they head up the steps, and he's like, where's our room? Where do we go? And she has to point and tell him, over here. So they go to the bedroom. He kind of tosses her down on the bed. They lay down together and they talk a little bit, and then she gets up to go make him a bologna sandwich. And as she's downstairs making a sandwich, he talks once again to the camera just about how lucky he is, how lucky Dougie is to have Rachel, to have the home that they're living in, and how he's not going to mess it up. So, curious to see where they're going to go. They are two that I do believe could make it. I feel like him paroling out to a place like this can give him hope. Having the kid there with him gives him hope. So I really want to see these two do good. Next, we have a Daonte and Nicolle. She got out of jail the day before. So she's one day out. She's at her mom's house, and she's got her mom dyeing her hair. She's putting her press-on fingernails on. Later on in the episode, she's going to be spraying herself down with spray tan. She is trying to get her looks together. I told my husband, I said, wow, she is one day out, and she is really worried about her appearance, you know, the first day, rather than just like relaxing, hanging out with mom, chilling at the house, or going to see Daonte. She's worried about her looks. Whatever. So she's sitting there with her mom. Her mom's dyeing her hair, and her mom asks her about Daonte. You know, how do you feel about Daonte? And she says, oh, I'm super comfortable with Daonte. I really like him, but I can't help but to think about and miss my ex-boyfriend, Zach. In a confessional, she tells us that her and Zach were dating when she got arrested. She said they didn't break up because they wanted to, but because she was sent to jail for 4 years. So it was kind of like it had to happen. And she misses him, so she wants to talk to him. And if you guys remember in the last episode, the day that she got out, she went home, and after she took a shower, she was laying on her bed and she was texting someone, and it was Zach, her ex-boyfriend. So she's already started talking to him. She's already made plans with Zach to meet up for the weekend, but still has Daonte thinking that things are serious with them. Her mom also asked her, like, what's your plan? And Nicolle literally says, my plan is to let Daonte take care of me. I don't know if she understands, but that's not okay. Just to let a man take care of you while you talk to other men behind his back. That's really not what you should do. You should probably just be honest and tell Daonte the truth. Like, if you want to be with Zach, then let Zach take care of you. Let Zach spend his money on you. You don't just like lead someone on, making them think that you care about them while you're talking to someone else behind their back just because they can take care of you. I also thought that it was really strange that her mom didn't say anything. Like, her mom didn't tell her, Nicolle, you know that's not right. If you don't want to be with him. Or if you think you want to be with Zach, then you need to at least be honest with Daonte. Her mom didn't say anything. Daonte shows up, and he comes in the house. He sits down to talk to the mom, and Nicolle gets up and says, I gotta go wash this, this dye out of my hair. You guys talk, but don't talk about me. Well, of course, they're talking about her, of course. What else are they going to talk about? Nicolle's mom asked Daonte, what's your intentions with my daughter? Because I don't want my daughter just to be this pretty little arm candy you have. Like, that's not what I want. I don't want you using my daughter just because she's pretty. And Daonte was like, oh, no, ma'am, not at all. I love her. And I was kind of like, hold the phone. You don't want Daonte using your daughter because she's pretty and she would be nice arm candy, but you're okay with your daughter using Daonte because Daonte will take care of her financially. Seems like you should have said something to your daughter and maybe not Daonte, but whatever. So he tells her, no, I love your daughter. We're engaged. He's like, I don't know if you know this, but we're engaged. The mom was like, wait, what? You're engaged? And he realizes like, oh crap, she didn't know. He's like, you didn't know, I'm sorry. But yeah, we're engaged. I got your daughter a ring. She said she would marry me, so we're engaged. The mom asked Daonte if he had cheated, you know, like, have you messed with anybody else? Nicole's been in jail for a minute. You guys have been talking for a minute. Have you been loyal to my daughter? And he tells her yes, that he's been loyal to her, and he got himself a toy so he could stay loyal to Nicolle, and that he named his toy Nicolle Jr. Now the mom just kind of looked a little shocked, and he was like, I had to do what I had to do. And in a confessional, he says, like, don't knock it till you try it. If you're trying to stay loyal to your woman and she's not around, like, get yourself a toy. Women have toys. Why can't men have toys? And I'm like, right on, Daonte, right on. If it's what you needed to make sure you didn't cheat, more power to you. The mom gets up and she goes to the bathroom where Nicolle is, and she's like, you didn't tell me you were engaged. Nicolle has the nerve to say, we're not engaged. So the mom's like, well, whatever, I think you need to work it out with Daonte, because he just said you were. So Nicolle walks out. She walks into the living room where Daonte is, and she asks him, why did you tell my mom that we were engaged? Daonte looks so shocked. He's like, because we are? And she's like, no, we're not. And he says, I got you a ring. You asked for a ring. I got you a ring. I even said you should just marry me now. You said yes. We're engaged. And she says something about the conversations that happened afterwards. And then in a confessional, she says that she asked Daonte for a ring just so she would have like something in jail that nobody else had. Like, oh, look, I have this nice little ring. And that he snuck it into the jail for her. And like something was said about being engaged, but as like a joke, she was like, yes, it wasn't serious, like in her mind. But it was for Daonte. It was very serious. So I have another video that I'm going to do after this, where there's some emails between Daonte and Nicolle, where she very well knew that they were engaged. And it was, I think if I remember the emails correctly, it was her idea. So also, you want this man to sneak a ring in a facility where he could go to jail for it if he got busted. Sneaking something into a facility is illegal. You will get arrested on the spot. Daonte shouldn't have done that. Love will make you do crazy things. Nicolle shouldn't have asked. Daonte shouldn't have done it. But I'm like, if you expected him to do that, the least you could have done was be engaged to him. You know what I'm saying? But she tells Daonte that she is not going to settle for like the ring that she had, that she's not going to be engaged until she picks out her own ring, and it's a good ring, and until the man gets down on one knee. Daonte goes outside because, of course, he got a little steam to blow off after all this went on. And he's just upset. He says, I feel like she's not who she was before. The person that, you know, treated me this way is not who she is today. It's just so wild. I feel like the love that I'm giving out is not reciprocated. So he's frustrated, and rightfully so. So next we have Anissa and Jeff. I never met them before. This is the first time they've appeared on this episode, or this season. I don't know if this is how the show works, if they kind of throw people in and out. I'm not sure. But we did have Courtney and Josh. Don't know where Dill Pickle went. But now we have Anissa and Jeff. Now, Anissa is a self-proclaimed cougar who goes for younger men. I don't know her age, but Jeff is a lot younger than her. He's not 1920. I think he's probably like in his 30s, 40s. And she's maybe closer to 60, I'm guessing. Not really sure. It's 2 days until his release. Anissa is with her cousin. They are on their way to look at wedding dresses. They get to the bridal shop and she's trying on dresses, and she finds the one. And as she's standing there looking at the dress, her cousin says, what are you going to do if he doesn't show up again? And Anissa says, no, he's going to show up. He will. And Haley, the bridal consultant, says, like, what do you mean? What are you guys talking about if you don't show up? Has he ever not shown up before? And Anissa says yes. Jeff has gotten out of jail twice during the relationship, and neither time did he come to her. He got out, run amok, and ended up back in jail, and that's when he called her again. So it seems like to me, the only time Jeff and Aneesa are in a relationship is when he is in jail. When he gets out, he goes and does whatever the heck he pleases. Now, Aneesa is like, no. He feels bad. He's not going to do it again. When he gets out of jail this time, he's coming home to mama. I don't know. He's been in jail, like, I think on and off for about 11 years now. So the bridal consultant is just blown away. She's like, whoa, wait a minute. Twice he's gotten out of jail and he stood you up. What makes you think he's not going to do it this time? Aneesa is just convinced that he's not going to. The cousin asked her, does he know that we're here looking at dresses? Like, did you tell him you were going to look for wedding dresses? And Aneesa says, no. I haven't told him because I haven't talked to him in a few days. That's another red flag there, is like, she hasn't talked to him in a few days. So Aneesa tells the cousin, like, just give him a chance. Don't write it off so quickly. So the cousin says, I'm going to give him a chance, but I don't like it. Now, in a confessional, the cousin also says that she's not sure if she even believes that Jeff is real. And I'm like, hold up. So you think your cousin is like faking a man? Like pretending to have a boyfriend? If you question that, then shouldn't you be questioning something else? Like if she's okay? Because if she's faking a man and she's looking at wedding dresses, I would think you need to take her to the doctor, have her checked out or something. I don't know, you guys. This is like, she's not the only one that thinks Aneesa is faking this. So later on in the episode, we meet Kyle. Kyle is Aneesa's friend. It is 18 hours until Jeff's release. Aneesa is at her house. Kyle shows up. He asks her if she's excited that Jeff is about to get out of jail. She says she's super excited. And then Kyle starts questioning her. You know, I've never been here and Jeff called, and I'm here all the time. Like, I've never been around you and Jeff called, and I'm around all the time. Has anyone ever been around when Jeff calls? And Aneesa's like, I think so-and-so was one time. So Kyle's like, how do we know that he's real? And Aneesa says, I know. What? If someone told me, like, I don't know if the boyfriend that you're telling me about is real, I would be like, what is wrong with you? You really think I'm that crazy that I'm going to fake a boyfriend? You must think I'm crazy. But she was just like, I know. I'm like, okay. Anyways, she tells Kyle that she needs to show him something. She goes in the room. She comes back out with a wedding dress. Kyle is blown away. He's like, what the heck are you doing? Are you going to marry him? And she says, yes, that she wants to marry him. He asks, when are you going to marry him? She says, I hope that I can marry him, like, right after he gets out of jail. So Kyle is like, why don't you at least give it time? Like, you don't know who he really is outside of jail. It would be really ignorant for you to, like, marry him right after he got out. Like, spend some time with him. See who he really is. And Aneesa's like, no, right when he gets out, I want to marry him. Kyle tells her that she is crazy and that it is the dumbest decision that she has ever made, but he does wish her luck. Now, after he leaves her house, he is outside talking to the camera, and he tells the camera that he thinks it is all in Aneesa's head. So I'm like, what's the real deal with Aneesa that her friend Kyle and her cousin think that she has an imaginary boyfriend? Something's off there. So I'm very interested, you guys. This is a show that I'm probably going to watch from here on out. As long as the cast is this good and this interesting, I'm here for it, you guys. I want to see if Jeff is real. I want to see if when he gets out, if he comes home to Aneesa. I don't know if he is, you guys. I'm leaning towards he probably won't. He's not going to come home. Doug and Rachel, I think they can make it work. Courtney and Josh, I'm curious to see where they're at. Next episode, hopefully they'll be back with us. Stan and Lisa, in a preview for the next episode, Stan and Lisa get into it. So we're going to see what happens there. Who else we got? Daonte and Nicolle, preview for the next episode. We see her in some little lingerie and she's backing it up on Daonte, and he goes to touch and she like jumps away and she's like, you can't touch. And then she says, you don't get none of this until I get my boob job. So she's trying to con a boob job out of Daonte. She tried to get a car out of him as well. That's coming up in the next video that I make about Daonte and Nicolle. She actually tried to get Daonte to buy her a car. I think it was before she was released from prison. And Daonte had to tell her, like, I'm not made of money. I work. I can't just go buy you a car. Like, getting you a ring is one thing. Getting you a cell phone is one thing. But a car, like, no, darling. He even told her, like, my car's not paid off yet. So we're going to get into that in a video that I make strictly about those two. Yeah, I'm here for it, you guys. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Nicolle, I think she is like the one that just screams scam, scam, scam. Next, maybe Lisa. I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe Lisa does enjoy hanging out with Stan, but I don't know if I believe that she is physically attracted to him. I don't know. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and you like these recaps. Also, I do recaps of Siesta Key. I talk about Teen Mom, Jersey Shore, Mama June, all kinds of stuff pertaining to reality TV. I also have a TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Follow me there. The links and the tags to everything will be in the description box below. Give this video a thumbs up. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.